Happy Thursday. Welcome to Mind Mastery Secrets with James today. I will just ask some questions and find out more about why James is doing what he's doing and a bit of the backstory. So I got some questions from the community and also have some personal things that I think people need to know, because as you know, the last 4 years I was lucky to be with James. James took care about me about 4 years ago when I started my journey for health, and really helped me a lot to get out of depression, anxiety, fear, and really becoming the person that I want to be. And that's something I'm really grateful about. And I believe we want to share this with, I want to share this with as many people as possible. So therefore, I will just start with some questions that I got from the community, and then at the end we will do a little Q&A. So first question that I got. Second. First question that I got was, what started you on your journey of learning, researching, practicing, and teaching meditation, breathwork, and neuro-associative conditioning, James?
That's a big question. I think the initial reaction is pain. Pain is what drove me to want to really learn about meditation and how my brain works and how my body works. Without going into a big long story, grew up in somewhat challenging circumstances as a child, left home at the age of 14, 15 and was homeless for a short period of time. And so that struggle and that pain made me really question what was happening in my brain and my body and what was happening in my life. And I wanted to try and fix all of those things. I was not happy with my thought processes or how I was perceiving reality. I was not happy with my health and my emotional health more than anything. And I felt so much pain in those situations that it motivated and inspired me to want to learn how to drive this car, my brain and my body. So that's kind of the short answer. And then that journey led me to reading lots of books and doing lots of courses and meeting lots of different people, and essentially living in a Buddhist center for 2 years in Tasmania, and waking up every morning and following various protocols and practices from the Buddhist tradition. Getting into hypnotherapy and wanting to understand the influence that hypnotherapy can have on the unconscious world, because as I was learning all of these things, not necessarily all of them were working, and so I wanted to go deeper into the unconscious mind and see if that's where some answers were. So I guess the easy answer is that it started from pain, and it's been a constant sprint to get away from that pain and find some solutions to that pain in my life, and still to this day.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And second question that I got is, why is meditation more important than ever before during these weird times?
That's a really good question.
That's one of the
That's a really good question. So we've been doing the morning meditation, and just me sharing my experience of meditation and my practice, and hopefully that works for some people. And what we're noticing now in this crazy time where everybody's confronted and isolated in their own homes, isolated in their own minds, isolated in their own emotions, I imagine that lots and lots of people are experiencing a lot of confrontation of what's in their unconscious mind. And for me, meditation is a way to dissociate from that and start to perceive it in an objective way, so that you're not attached to those thoughts and emotions and thinking of yourself as being good and bad and doing right and wrong, but actually just being able to observe what's happening in your mind and being able to be more objective to what's happening in your mind gives you so much more power and control and influence over your nervous system. And I know those words of power and control have somewhat negative connotations attached to them, but really it's about learning how to drive this vehicle in this time. And meditation is the most profound thing that's helped me to be able to do that in my challenging times in life, and continues to help me And I'm even more aware of it now in this time of my life of how important that is. And I've actually been really surprised, and not to blow my own horn, but to inspire you, that during this time I've been super chilled to the point where I'm like, what's wrong with me? Maybe something's wrong with me, that I'm not stressed like everybody else, or I'm not panicked like everybody else. And of course I'm going through that as well, but I have surprised myself in how stable I've felt emotionally and how stable and clear I've felt mentally as well. So my personal belief and what we're seeing with other people in our group that we've got going now is that that really is having a profound effect on how you're perceiving reality at this moment, and then how you're dealing with that, which helps you to navigate that and make intelligent decisions. We know that, and I've said this before, and repetition is the mother of skills, so I'll say it again, is that what we think about is affecting the chemistry of our brain and body to such a point that that is what's actually programming our brain and body. And if we're not controlling and influencing that for ourselves, then something or someone else is going to be doing that for us. So for me, meditation is really taking control of the steering wheel and going, I'm responsible for what I think about, and I'm responsible for the emotional reactions that that has, and therefore the programs that start to build out of that. So for me, that's why meditation is important right now.
Awesome.
That was not the short answer,
Thanks.
I know.
I think it was really helpful for many people, which leads me actually to my third question, which is, what's the first step for someone starting today on implementing a meditation practice? So because you talked about the benefits, and now people want to know what's the first steps to actually implement all of this practices?
Just do it. I think just doing it, that's really where it's at. And for me, if I don't do it first thing in the morning, I will find all of the excuses in the world why I can't do it. And I've got really legitimate excuses. I've got lots of clients, and I've got lots of colleagues out there, and lots of things that I need to deal with. So I've got fantastic excuses why I can't do my meditation and why I'm so busy. And that's why I commit to getting up super early in the morning, making sure that that's the first thing that I do, so that I can catch those unconscious programs, which as soon as we wake up, those unconscious programs run. We don't wake up and decide what we're doing, unless of course that is your practice. We actually wake up, and the thoughts that we had yesterday and the same thoughts, the same feelings will run as a program. And so catching that first thing in the morning for me is really important, because if I don't do it first thing in the morning, it's gone. So my first suggestion for you would be to wake up in the morning, and wake up half an hour earlier than you normally do, so that you don't have the excuse. And simply just getting out of bed and moving somewhere to go and practice 10, 15, 20 minutes of breath work, listening to nice music, listening to a nice audio book, something that's filling you up, can be considered a meditation. And that will start to retrain and rewire your brain and how it works the first thing when you get up in the morning. So my suggestion is simply get up half an hour earlier and implement whatever practice is most easiest for you, because that easy step will start to build momentum, and then you can start to add in all of those other tools that are really going to take you to the next level. So starting is that waking up just a little bit earlier and changing your routines of getting up and checking your Facebook and checking your emails, thinking about what's going to happen next week, and thinking about all of the stressful things and what's going to happen tomorrow, and what if I can't do this, and what if this happens over here. Those things are not going to help you. So waking up half an hour early in the morning and disconnecting from all of that stuff, and dedicating that 30 minutes to really concentrate on what you want to think about and what you want to feel, to me is a meditation that is proven to affect the chemistry of your brain and body. I hope I've answered that in a simple way.
Nice. Thank you. And I got one more question for you until we go to the Q&A. So you guys, if you have Zoom call, if you have any questions like Adam already, please type them in the comment. And last question I got for you, James, is what's your purpose in life?
That's a good question as well. My purpose in life, my purpose in life is to learn how this works and to make this brain and body work really well. And once I work that out, and as I work that out, to try and share that experience and that knowledge and share that out with as many people as I can, because I believe the more we're in control of how this brain and how this body works, the more we can direct it to feeling the things that we want. And when we experience life the way that we want to create it, it makes us much better human beings. So easy answer is for me to say only to learn how my brain and body works, and then to share that with others so that they can do the same for themselves. It's a good question.
Thank you. Good answer.
So questions.
Sure. Yes, Q&A time.
I'm nervously excited.
The first question here from Adam. Yep. And Adam is asking, can you please explain the mechanics of how this practice rewires the brain?
Sure. I need to clarify what practice that is first, Mr. Podger.
I think he's talking about the meditation technique, what you said before, like the one we are doing with our members. You're talking about the morning mastery.
Sure. So lots and lots of ways. I could talk for hours on that topic. As I explained just before, if you're waking up in the morning and changing your behavioral unconscious patterns of how you go to the toilet, how you get your coffee, what you check on your phone, or if you check your phone, do you turn on the news? These are just unconscious programs that are running. So for somebody that's doing that, to simply not do that and do something else is going to rewire the brain and the way that it perceives reality and the way that it's thinking, and therefore how that's affecting the chemistry in the body, and that chemistry in the body is reinforcing that thinking. So that's how we start to reprogram things. On a deeper level, when we do this breath work with the lymphatic pump, and we do these deep breathing, deep breath, controlled breaths in and out through the nose, there's trillions of processes that's happening psychologically and biologically inside of you. But simply put, what you're trying to do, or what you're practicing to do, is to turn off the stress centers in your brain and the stress receptors in your body, and allowing yourself to exist in what's called the frontal lobe. So when we do this practice, and it's been proven with thousands of people around the world, hooked up to functional brain scans and blood tests and all of these kinds of things, and there's reams of research that I've read through that I've also forgotten that reinforces all of this stuff. We are putting more blood, glucose, and oxygen into our forebrain. Our forebrain is 40% of our brain, and it's the most evolved part of our brain. We have the largest frontal lobe out of all species on Earth. And so when we do these breathing practices in the morning, and when we focus on those thoughts that are suggested in that audio, then what you're actually doing is getting all of the energy up into this forebrain, which is the CEO of the brain, and you're able to start to direct your thoughts, and therefore the chemical reactions that has in your brain, the chemical reactions that has on your body, and then how those chemical reactions feed back into the brain and build momentum, which is a program that starts to build. So if you practice that program with the same veracity, I believe that's a word, or ferocity, as you do with your other programs, meaning if you've practiced these programs and habits of waking up and checking your emails or checking your Facebook or having a coffee and talking to friends, if that's your normal program, and then all of a sudden you change that to waking up and listening to some beautiful music and being meditative and thinking about perhaps what you want, or thinking about perhaps what you're grateful for, or what you appreciate in your life, or what you're lucky to have, that will start to change the program. And if you practice that the same as you practice the other programs, say for 10, 15, 20 years, then definitely that will be an unconscious program that will drag you through life in a positive way rather than being dragged through life in a somewhat negative way, as most of us are experiencing presently. I hope that answers your question. I'm happy to end in another way.
Next question I got from Hemal is, how is doing meditation in the morning is different from doing it at night before sleeping?
Great question. I suggest doing both. As I said before, that morning meditation and catching your brain or catching your unconscious programs first thing before you're off and racing and busy with everything that's happening, it's really about that for me. And it's only personal preference. Some people don't find that. However, there's a lot of information out there about sleep cycles and circadian rhythms and how that influences your hormone levels at a certain time, and waking up early is good based on that research. And so I suggest doing it first thing in the morning so that it sets the frame for your day. It's the frame of how you look through the lens of your perceptions. And within our meditation, we offer some guided gratitude and appreciation thought processes. So you start to think a little bit more in that way. And I think that's a beautiful frame to set your day, rather than waking up, checking an email. Oh, fuck, somebody sent me this and this happened. Oh, I've got to do that. Oh, I'm busy here. Oh, this person's trying to do that. Then that's not going to set a positive frame for your day. So really it's about waking up and taking charge of this brain and charge of this nervous system so that you direct it to where you want, rather than unconsciously being dragged throughout your day. That being said, your evening meditations are also really important, because if you've had a exceptionally stressful day and then you just hit the pillow and go to sleep, more than likely you're resting, but that stress is still affecting the chemistry of your body and your brain while you're resting. So meditation before you sleep actually helps you to set the frame again for your sleep as well. So my suggestion and my practice is to have a morning meditation, so you're setting the frame for your day, and to have an evening meditation. So again, you're setting your frame for your evening or for your, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, James. Other question from Adam. I'm not sure how specific that is. You say your purpose is to learn how to control your mind and body, and he was asking to what end. Maybe the question is same as what Hemal said in the next question. Maybe we can combine it and then we can wrap it up. What do you mean when you say control your mind and body? As mind controls the body? That's been my understanding. Maybe if you combine the questions. So why do we always speak about controlling your body and mind, and how is this connection in between?
So your thoughts are your choice. We know by neuroscience that you have 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day. And I would ask you now to assess yourself, how many thoughts out of those 70 to 90,000 are you choosing? That's a genuine question. And I suggest that you write that down and ask yourself, well, how many thoughts of those am I choosing? The thoughts that I am choosing to think is my conscious influence over my brain and body. And those thoughts that I'm not choosing, which is more than likely 90% to 99% of those thoughts, are unconscious thoughts that's still affecting your mind and body, or your brain and body. Your thoughts are constantly changing chemistry in your brain. They're what's called neurochemical events or neurochemical storms. The thoughts that you're having is creating chemistry in the brain, which then has a reaction in the body. So for you to choose your thoughts is to control and or influence the chemistry of your brain and the chemistry of your body. To answer your question, Adam, I don't know how long it's going to take to work all of that out, but I will keep striving to learn more about this system, because I believe that we actually know not much at all. I believe that we're seeing changes on a constant daily basis to medicine, science, quantum physics, so on and so forth, and we're realizing more and more how ignorant we actually are. So for me, the pursuit of understanding the human nervous system and how this brain and body works as a whole organism, I believe is a never-ending goal of mine, which I'm excited to be on.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we are running out of time now. I hope that's taking your time. We will do this now, I think, every week. So if we have more questions, just ask me personally, or post it in the comments of the post in the Facebook group. But other than that, thanks for your time, James. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we see you in the 28-day challenge group.
Privileged to serve everybody, and just really suggest that you try at least for 21 days your morning meditation and your evening meditation, and just notice the effects on yourself. And if it feels good, I'd suggest you keep doing it.
Thanks for taking the time, guys, and we see you soon.